Hello and welcome to The Success Rate. My name is Thuli Magubane, and today we are joined by a fellow broadcaster, Miss Andy. Started off her career in campus radio. A lot of broadcasters start there. She's moved to KFM. She's been to 94.7, and she is now in the streets of Jozi at KFM. Welcome, Andy. It's good to have you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. So tell us, what is in your bucket list?
Oh, goodness. Okay, how much can I say?
How much you want to reveal?
Well, my bucket list is one, a vacation to Jamaica, where we're doing a whole lot of obscene and slightly illegal things. It's definitely on my bucket list. And we're hardly wearing clothes. You know what I mean? That is my bucket list.
I've seen those massages.
Listen, Linda.
Those clay massages.
That is what I want to do. I want to be there for a week. I want to be doing a lot of things. That's definitely on a bucket list.
Yeah.
I definitely would love to have a late night show. Mm-hmm. I remember watching Khomutso, and when she had a late night show, I used to be obsessed with her.
Yes.
And I just love that particular format. So that's something that's definitely on my bucket list. And so many others. So
and who would be playing in your late night show?
Don't do that. There's so many. Gosh. No, don't do that. Don't do that. No. To be revealed.
Fine. To be revealed. So you started off your career while you were a student.
Yes.
If we would say that. You were still a student and started on campus radio. Mm-hmm. And you said it was just by chance. You literally didn't even plan to be on radio.
Definitely.
Tell us about how that came about.
Honestly and truly, it was in my first year. I think it was during the orientation week-ish. And I'd noticed that, okay, I'm getting a bit too obsessed with the academics. I'm not doing anything outside of that. So my sister, who was also there at the time, gave me a bit of a tour of the campus. And then one of the places we stopped by was the campus station there, MFM. And at the time, they were looking for people and they had like sign-up forms. And I was like...
Well, generally, all week is the time to recruit.
What I mean? I said, let me just write my name down.
Yeah.
Nothing... Who knows what can happen? And then, sure enough, I got a call maybe like a week later. And they were saying, okay, cool. We're going to put you into our training program with a bunch of other people. And even then, most people don't even make it because it's quite a rigorous training program. But me being me, I don't like being defeated by things. So I went through that rigorous training program. And I got in and, I started off doing, I think it was a 3 to 6 a.m. show. And from there, hey, I was like, this is fun. This is a whole lot of fun and a bit of a contrast to what I was doing because I was studying sciences. So it was quite nice to have something to do at least once a week and to let loose a bit and to, express my creative side. So that's pretty much how that started in that arena.
Was that in English or Afrikaans? What did you broadcast in?
Absolutely not in Afrikaans. That was a hard boundary for me.
Okay, sure.
So it was definitely in English. They definitely had Afrikaans programs there, but I said, get somebody else to do it because how?
Afrikaans is not gonna fly.
No, I said, nah, babes. No.
It's pretty, many people started off in the graveyard shift. They call it 3 to 6, the graveyard shift. Even when I started broadcasting, I started doing a graveyard shift in the then, it was called P4 back then. Yes. Yeah. And as a student, I didn't have a car.
Same.
So to get to my show, which started at 2 a.m., I would go to the waterfront, watch a movie, the 10 o'clock movie. And after the 10 o'clock movie, walk from the waterfront to Greenpoint to do my show. Imagine, I used to walk in the dark.
Though. Yeah. It's fairly safe that side.
It was, and back then, it was also fairly safe. And then at least when I finish at 6 a.m., there's transport to get back to campus. But that's a sacrifice that, you have to make. So what other sacrifices do you have to make, in order to launch your career?
Oh my goodness. One, you sacrifice sleep. I think I'm still recovering even now from a very warped sleep system true, you sacrifice a lot of your social time because a lot of that I couldn't have, friends, let's go for lunch. Babe, I have work. I have to study for the test. I've got an assignment. I've got et cetera, et cetera. And as much as these things are fun for me, but it's also, I don't have a break. My break is, being on radio, even also because I then got recruited into commercial radio while I was still on campus and still studying as well.
Yes, yeah.
And there I wasn't sleeping. I literally would go from one show to another show, to class, to studying, on trains for like an hour. And if you know anything about Metro Rail in Cape Town, the girl is on her own time. So I would have to leave at least 4 hours before just in case something happens.
There's a delay, yes.
And that's 4 hours of my day gone, and there was just so many things. I would have to be marking papers on a train because I was a tutor as well. There was just so many things where I'm like, the girl is busy, but where's the money? When does this end?
We'll talk about the money.
You know what I mean? It's crazy.
So what lessons did you learn during that time, trying to balance, a new career and trying to finish your studies at the same time?
Yeah. I think I learned diligence really does pay off and discipline also pays off. And sometimes you may not see that or the result of something that you're trying to achieve and that you're trying to do and create. But the small things all add up to create the bigger thing. And as much as you may sacrifice a lot of personal time with friends, with family, it really does pay off in the end if you are diligent and you work with discipline. And I really learned to get into a routine, a very meticulous routine when it comes to preparing for my show, whether it's to prepare for even studying. I have a very meticulous routine and I make sure that whatever happens, it needs to be step A to B to see, even if it seems like, girl, this doesn't really...
So what happens when your routine is disrupted?
I'm a mess. I'm a complete utter mess. I don't think Keta has seen me in a mess, but like my producers are like, okay, girl, what do you need? How do we get you? Because I really do need that little bit of a routine. And sometimes my routine is just sitting in front of my laptop and doing absolutely nothing. But I just need to see my preparations and just breathe and be in the space. And just to know that, okay, I'm fine. I need about 10 minutes of just nothingness. I just need just that.
Yeah.
So it does throw me off a bit, but sometimes I need to remind myself, girl, you're 2 hours early. Relax. Relax. Just because it's not 4 hours, you're 2 hours early. Relax. So it really does help me just to feel like, okay, you're okay.
Yes.
And I think, if anything, it really has helped me in terms of getting a particular routine together when it comes to my own work and seeing where I can let loose a bit, in the future. Yeah.
All right. So people think being on radio is quite glamorous.
Oh, no.
So maybe do you want to just pop some people's bubbles in terms of the reality? It is not as glamorous, yes.
At all. It's a lot of hours that, that happen outside of you being on air. There's a lot of preparations. Sometimes you even change your topic mid-show where you realize this actually won't work. It's the wrong day. Maybe you have a news cycle where things are a bit hectic and you also need to change your tone a bit in terms of the conversation. And I just feel like as much as it's not hard in terms of a physical labor. It's hard on your nervous system. I don't know how to explain it, but you are constantly on. Your nervous system is constantly active to the point where you need to have quite religious routines to switch it off because you are constantly surrounded by media and things that could be content and things that you need to incorporate. And a lot of the time, I also have to switch off, which sometimes means I miss a lot of things, but I have to be okay with missing it and catching things later. It's certainly not glamorous just because, one, there's a lot of things you got to do that you don't want to do. There's a lot of things that are a part of the process that you're just like, why? Why me? But it also, once again, the small things add up to the big thing.
And have you ever had any embarrassing moments on air?
Oh gosh, all the time.
Share one.
All the time. I once hiccuped on air. I once burped on air. I once laughed during a very serious news story that I was reading. People are dying. I'm laughing. I'm like, what's happening? Why is this my career? But the hiccup thing is the worst thing. And you're like, I can't even stop it. Let me just play the song. It's fine. I guess.
And then come back from the song and you still hiccuping.
La. No, I had to find a routine for that. And a friend of mine actually told me that, if you say Michael Jackson, like literally over and over and over again, it goes away.
Really?
And it does work. Even
Michael
for sneezing,
Jackson,
it works.
Michael Jackson.
100. There's something about the phonetics of it that just like, I don't know, it does something to
that's a new one.
So do it. Particularly for sneezing, it works as well. And then for the hiccups as well, you do that and also holding your breath. But sometimes it doesn't work. Then, yeah, it's a lot.
And then, you mentioned that you have to be on all the time, and you have those moments when you do switch off. So how do you take care of Andy in terms of your spirit, your emotions, mental wellness?
So the first thing I do before I even go into work, I always watch a sermon just so that I am grounded in, number one, why I do this and why I'm even alive, really. After work, I make sure I give myself at least an hour or two of not doing anything radio. I don't even listen to the radio. Sorry, drive shows. I'm sorry. I can't do it just because my nervous system is back up and I'm thinking, oh, maybe I just need to not be around that. I watch a lot of reality shows and particularly like, ratchet-ish ones. It's just nice to be in other people's realities.
Which are your favorites? I'm thinking Housewives.
Oh, there's so many. Definitely Housewives.
Yeah.
Love Housewives. I'm trying to think of the ones I'm watching now. Big Brother. But I mean, I haven't been quite up to date with this one, but I like Big Brother. I like Married to Medicine. I'm trying to think South African ones, Tandoness Tembo, and that entire franchise of reality shows. I just love like seeping into other people's realities. It's also nice like to see like social psychology at play that, you're missing that. Why is nobody telling you this? Like, listen, so it's quite interesting to like deep into go into other people's realities and lived experiences.
And do you think you've had to reinvent yourself moving from different radio stations and different audiences?
I don't want to say reinvent, but I think I've had to access different parts of myself. And once you know what the station is, what it is that they need and which part of you they need, that's when you know, okay, this is the part of me that needs to be expressed. And sometimes it's also nice to know that, okay, what is it that they don't have that you can then access bring in as well. So for me, I feel like it's definitely accessed at different parts of me. I think when I was younger, I used to love pop music. And, being at campus radio stations where they like pop music and KFM where pop music was central, it allowed me to like enjoy that particular space and also, the world that is. And then coming to 947 where it's a mix of pop and, just...
A mix,
a mix. And then Kaya, which is just Kaya, which feels like home. It's just been really nice to have that particular trajectory where there's a lot of things I've had to also somewhat put on where I'm like, no, actually, no, don't have to anymore. And it's nice to be in an environment where I feel different and have a bit of a different experience and have a different road into broadcasting, which I feel it makes me feel different in that space and also allows other people who do have a different profile in terms of their life and different interests, to feel at home.
So, Andy, when someone, comes across you, they would see a very confident young lady. But I read that when you were called for the Netflix podcast, you felt that you were just not ready and you didn't deserve that. So tell us about that. What was going through your mind?
The thing is, the Netflix podcast came at a time where I just left another radio station. So I was in my waiting season, if you will. So I was doing a lot of reflection and a lot of rerouting as to what do I want my next step to be. Yes. Because before then, a lot of my career, particularly radio-wise, had chosen me. I'd stumbled upon radio. Radio chose me. Commercial radio chose me. I just stumbled into it. And it was like, I guess if you're paying, child, where the money resides, that's me, Yes. And, when that chapter ended, I had to, number one, choose radio for myself. So I had to really make a conscious decision that I want to contribute into this space. And that is also entertainment as well. And when Netflix called, I was literally in my season of quietness, and it was a different type of medium. And when the producer called, they're like, we want you. And I'm like, I don't understand. Have you tried other people? Are you sure? Have you auditioned people? And I think now that I look back at it, I think they made me audition just to make me feel like I achieved it.
You earned it.
You know what I mean?
Yes, yeah.
So I think they made me audition, and even then I had a bit of a crisis even going into that audition. But I think for me, it really made me realize that, okay, I can contribute so many other different things into this particular medium that is entertainment. And it just really made me realize that, okay, I really am a force. And also the work that I've done really has proven my worth into the space.
So do you think that was your moment of imposter syndrome?
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
Because even leading up to it, there were times where I think maybe a week or two before filming, I called the producer and I said, please go get so-and-so, get them to do this. Like, I don't think I can do this. Just reading the script and just being petrified, because now it's not just me and a mic. It's a mic and a radio. Not a radio, and a camera, excuse me, and a camera and 10,000 different people. And that particular setup I wasn't quite used to just yet. And they reassured me. They said, no, babes, the auditions are done. We're in it now. And you're going to have to fake it till you make it. And we chose you for a particular reason. And you need to believe that particular reason.
And what did you learn from that experience?
Oh, my goodness. One, that I'm worthy, and that I think I deserve to be treated well in this industry, because I think there's a lot of things that I've had to grovel, and there's a lot of times where I've had to keep quiet about things when I know I should be burning some buildings,
Yes, yeah.
And I think the way Netflix really treated us as hosts was so respectful. And we were held at such high esteem. And I think you would know, when it comes to radio, as the host, you treat it as, hey, you're here to work.
Yeah.
Hak and whoever the guest is, they treat it as,
Yes, yeah.
We were given the same treatment. I felt like I was a star. I'm like, Netflix, okay.
Indeed, the
you know what I
star.
mean?
Yes,
So it really boosted my ego. And also, it made me realize that I also contribute to this. I'm not just a worker bee, as much as it is work, but I'm also here to contribute to the success of this thing, So it really, really helped for me to realize that as much as you work, but you also contribute to the success of it.
So what is success to you?
Ooh, success is so many folds to me. One, success is having, what's the word? A clean conscience? Is that what?
Yeah.
I take care of my conscience quite vigorously. Success is having a balanced life. I don't ever want to have a life where it looks great, but on the other side, it's empty, So I take great diligence when it comes to being connected to my family, connected to my friends, and also just being good people to them. And even when I stray, because I will stray, I make sure that, I repair that.
Yes,
my dad used to always say that, you need to always strive to be a balanced human being. And no matter what happens in your life, don't ever get taken in by the tide.
True,
just be a balanced human being. And you must always make sure that you are content with what it is that you have, because then you can add more, Once you are in the tide, it's hard to bring yourself back. Yeah.
I like that. Once you're in the tide,
it's very hard.
It's hard to bring yourself back. And then the biggest misconception about success?
Ooh, that it's monetary and that it's with things.
We like money. We like things.
Money's great. Listen, please. If anybody's watching, if you got a coin, bring it to me. Okay, I'm closer, so I love money. Things with money make sense, but I think it's all about value as well. I think when it comes to success, once the money's there, it will reveal a whole lot about your character. So I would rather invest in my character rather than investing in money, because the money is going to make you more of what it is that you are.
So how do you invest in your character?
I think you heal and you take responsibility for where you are, how you are. Because as much as you can blame mom, dad, aunt, uncle, at the end of the day, there comes a point in your life where you are responsible for yourself. So if that means that you go to therapy, if that means you speak to people, if that means you have to confront people, you have to heal. You've got to heal, and you've got to make sure that you take care of the inside.
And I mean, you're still relatively young.
I am. I'm a youth. Yes.
Yes, you still defined under youth. So I mean, there's I've had guests where they've had probably more days behind them than they are left in front of them.
Yes,
we will be hopeful that with you, we still have more days ahead of you than behind you.
Yeah.
So when you think about the future and you picture a future for yourself, is there anything that you would want to change now in your life to make sure that you have the future that you're dreaming about?
Oh my goodness, there's so many things. There's so many things. I feel like I've entered even into the year 2025. I'm entering into a season of redefining what this thing is. You know, I've been in this industry for close to 15 years and I've been doing, I wouldn't say one thing, but I've been invested into one medium for quite a while. And I really do want to reroute. Currently now, I'm getting help. You know, I'm getting help in terms of a team of people, and some advisors just to help me figure out, okay, what is the next step? What does that look like?
Yes,
and also being okay with it not looking the way I want it to, but we're getting there in some particular way. So I think I've done it solo for a very long time, and I can say that I've done well with doing it alone.
Yes,
But I think now I'm ready to add some people in to contribute and to see how we can move this thing forward and to do things that scare me. Yeah.
And how do you motivate yourself to continue doing what you do?
I read the Bible and I pray.
Yeah.
Because I really do want to be centered into who I am, why I'm here, and what does that look like? And how do I move forward in a place, in a space where I am called to conform and I'm called to speak when spoken to and to conform, really. And how do I ensure that I am in a space where I am allowing myself to color outside of the lines and to also just remain connected to the purpose that I'm here for.
And do you feel pressure to be a certain way because you're in the public eye?
100%. I definitely feel the pressure, specifically just with being on, you know. And I think I have the luxury of having training in radio where they said, babe, you need to speak like yourself. Because if you speak like someone else, then now when people meet you, they're like, but you sound
different.
It's a bit, you know. And
well, there are people with radio
voices.
With their radio voice.
Yes. Couldn't be bothered to do it.
Yes.
But I'm glad that I have that particular foundation and that even the way in which I speak allows for my own personality to come
shine,
out.
yes,
So at least when people meet me, it's like, oh, but are you the same person? Yeah, it's the same person. And I think for me, it's a bit difficult sometimes to be the bubbly person, even when I'm in a bad mood, because sometimes I'm just exhausted. I'm just going to Woolworths to get me a pie. Can I get the pie and go home? But then, you know, it's sometimes I just feed off other people's energies because now you're coming with great energy, and I'm like, oh,
okay, if
you
they
just
do
made
come,
my day.
exactly, if they come with the great energy,
most of the time they do.
Helps.
I've got really good people who support me, and they most of the time they come with good energy, and I'm like, you just made my day better. I was having a horrible day, but that just made it better. That okay, that you acknowledge that okay, I'm a person that exists. Yeah.
And then, how do you deal with failure? And what failures have you had in your life?
I'm still trying to figure out how to deal with failure because I was always the perfect student, person who's good at everything. I think I've had that luck of just being able to figure things out and do them well. I think when it comes to radio has been a great teacher in, I wouldn't say failure, but in being good enough, but also not being good enough all at the same time. That you can be the right person, but also the wrong person at the same time. That your gift and whatever it is that you have to offer, it's like, no, we actually don't want you. It has nothing to do with you, but everything to do with you at the same time. And that has been a whole lot for me to try and figure out as to how do I attach my success, attach the value of my life to something outside of my trajectory in this career. And I've had to realize that, you know what, wherever I am, I'm there to contribute. The seat is not mine.
True, yeah.
It's up for rent. So if my lease expires, it expires.
It's time to move on.
It's time to move on. And I've always had to remind myself that, you know what, my whatever platform I'm on for a particular season. When that season ends, it ends. And it wasn't until I think I left 947 and I was on a call with my friend, and we had gone through campus radio together.
Yeah.
So he says to me, remember that song that we used to love? It's a song by Imagine Dragons. It's pop, guys, don't judge. So it's called Thunder. So there's a line there that says, I was lightning before the thunder. So he said to me, listen, whatever platform you are on, it's not because it's the platform that's making you. You are there to contribute. Yes, the platform is bigger, it's louder, but at the end of the day, you are lightning before the thunder. So you'll go, whenever you go, you will always contribute somewhere. And you aren't going to be defined by whatever platform you are on. So I've always remembered that okay, I can't be defined whatever platform I'm on. I need to move on to the next chapter and not hold on to, but why didn't they want me? Lightning before the thunder.
The industry is evolving.
Very much so.
And obviously, there's competition from podcasts and all of that. So how are you going to manage to keep yourself relevant going forward? Because it's still a long journey you have to travel.
It is.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's my responsibility to keep myself relevant, but to keep myself moving with the times. I don't fear the evolvement of the industry. In fact, I welcome it. And it makes me excited just because it gives us so many more options, I think it for me, as somebody who's seen my life as not one thing, I've already seen, just from the fact that I've come from academics, a very strict and linear world, into entertainment where it's vurvai. You need to figure out what's happening.
Yes, yeah.
I've always seen my life as not being one thing, and I'm okay with it being that. So wherever I'm called and moved to next, I will go in with vigor. And
do you have mentors? Has anyone mentored you in the industry?
Ooh.
Helped you to become who you are?
Ooh, I've had people who've opened doors for me, and I have people who I would say have longer and more successful careers who support me.
True, yeah.
I don't have the traditional mentor of, I'm on the call, sis, you need to do this now. I don't have that, but I have people who are way above me that have witnessed my journey, and every now and then they send a DM like, you're doing amazing.
Well. And do you have people maybe approaching you, wanting to be mentored by you?
All the time. But it stresses me out. Maybe it is also imposter syndrome because I'm like, what am I going to do? What does that structure look like? What do I contribute to you?
Yes.
Unless you give me a 10-point thing.
This is what I'm looking for.
Andy, I want this. Then we can do that. But mentor stresses me out because what am I going to do? Even when people want a shadow, I'm like, guys, radio is not cute, eh? I can't even text on my phone because I'm busy with 10,000 things. And I'm always just thinking, what is it that is what are you going to be left with when, let's say, we spend an hour, 3 hours together? What can I impart on you? And unless we have a very structured way of doing it. I have people all the time wanting to be mentored by me, but it really does stress me out because I don't want to scam people, because a lot of people be scamming. I'm just saying. And then they charge you 1,000 rand, 10,000 rand an hour, and you're thinking you're getting something, but I could get that from a podcast. I could get that, from reading a book.
Yeah.
So I'm always thinking, okay, what is it that I can contribute to you that will actually move you forward? And not something that's you can find in a book, I would rather direct you to the book,
Well, we're going to talk about books, but people don't read much these days.
That part. Please read, people. I beg of you. Yes.
So we have a feature called Fire 5.
Oh gosh, okay.
And just some quick questions to get to know you a little bit better.
Okay.
First question, do you believe in love at first sight?
I do.
Have you experienced
I'm a hopeless romantic, yes, but it was one-sided. So it's delusion. Yes, I do believe at first sight.
Okay, Anele or Grant Nash?
Oh gosh, that's not fair.
I know.
Because Grant was my program manager and Anele was, I'll say Grant.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. Because Grant was brilliant in terms of really growing my radio mind.
Yes.
Even when having Snoop sessions with him, I would have pages and pages of notes.
Notes, yeah.
He is just brilliant. Just a brilliant human being. So Grant, love you, Anele, but Grant, yes.
Okay. Do you think you could win a game show?
Absolutely. I'm
Which
too
one?
competitive. I'm a Leo. Ooh, celebrity game night. Who wants to win $1 million? Don't do any.
Wants to, yeah.
What other game
Wants to
shows
be a
are there?
millionaire.
I would win though. I'd make sure. If I have to cut someone out, Big Brother, I would win. What's another game? Just Survivor. I don't know if I'm cutthroat though, but if you take me there, I can go.
Okay, all right. So what smell reminds you most of a specific place or time?
Ooh. It's the bread, the smell of bread. Particularly pot bread. In isiXhosa, we call it isongo sombago. It reminds me of home, it reminds me of being safe and being a child, and just the anticipation of just good times. Because every time my mom would make it, it was just a good time. And I remember just being a child and smelling that, and I know, okay.
All is well.
Yeah, all is well. Yeah.
And what was your nickname growing up?
Oh my gosh, don't do this. I had many. One Ella Sakaya was with Diesel.
Diesel?
Yeah,
don't
ask me
Diesel.
Questions.
I would not know. Now we need to know Diesel.
You know, because I was very boyish when I was young. I used to do a lot of things around the farm because I used to grew up on a farm. So I was very tough, you know. So they called me Diesel because I was tough. You know what I mean?
Was it after Vin Diesel?
I actually don't know. I think maybe it was after the oil because my older brother gave me that. So, and I'm like, I don't know if I like this name.
Okay, which other one?
And then at school, they gave me, I also don't know where this comes from, but they call it chicken boza.
Chicken boza?
Don't ask me questions. I even had it on my matric jacket. I don't know why I did that.
Chicken boza.
And then I don't know why I had that name, but maybe because I like chicken a lot and my dad used to buy me a lot of KFC, hence the thickness. But they called me chicken boza. I don't like that name. And then I rerouted and I renamed myself Beyonce. Even to the point now, my little sisters call me Beyonce.
Okay.
Even when they asked me what my name is, when they were like 2, I said, my name is Beyonce. Call me Beyonce all the time. So like now they're like, Beyonce.
Yes,
Scam the kids, people. Scam the kids. It will work for you. So yeah.
So what book are you reading or what books are you reading at the moment?
Oh gosh. Yeah. To be quite honest, doing a postgraduate definitely took the love of reading out of my system. But one book that I can definitely cement and say changed my life, I list it all the time, The Color Purple. It is just such a story of one, becoming, but two, also really moving through adversities and remaining connected to who it is that you are.
Yes, yeah.
And it also makes me a bit mad that sometimes you really do play over the story of what your life and your experiences are, and you live in that world of victimhood. And just to see the main character just really get out of that and live a life of success and own it as well. Yeah.
Do you read nonfiction, self-help books?
I can't.
No. Yeah.
The last one I read was Steve Harvey's Think Like a Man, and I said, it's done. That's it for me. I can't do it anymore. It's just because it's like, what? No, tell me a story and then bring me the lesson afterwards. I like being engulfed into a world and having my imagination active. Because sometimes I'm like, okay, you could have said 5 bullet points. This could have been done. Now I'm 700 pages in, but yeah.
So I believe, at some point, you went through therapy, but at some point you realized that you need a life coach because, your therapist will listen to you with all your problems and not give you the solution and how to move forward.
100%.
So how have you used life coaching to take you forward as an individual?
You know what? When I even consulted a life coach, I knew that I needed just steps in terms of how to get from A to B. Because I do suffer from the analysis paralysis thing. I will analyze something down and I'll get to what the issue is, but then doing something about it is where the issue is. So when I consulted a life coach who is amazing, I think she was really great in empowering me in terms of realizing that this is your life. You're okay. And also you're allowed to take steps. And if one doesn't work, we try something else. And it was really great in terms of how she mixes in psychology, but also then giving you practical tools as to here's how, here's the why, and here's why you're actually not doing it as well. And we need to get out of that level of thinking and move now into the practical.
So you think life coach is the future?
I think so, but don't scam people, okay? Because a lot of them, I was very skeptical going in. And I think after my first session where we didn't even speak much about, she didn't even life coach, she was just asking me questions about myself.
Yes, to understand you.
To understand me. And then she's also explaining her process, how it works. literally the last 5 minutes of that session, bawling my eyes out.
Wow.
And I'm like, girl, are you going to charge me for this? Because what's happening? So for me, that solidified that, okay, we're doing some real work. And two, she's really going to push a lot of boundaries and in a good way and in a healthy way as well. So it definitely is worth it. And I just hope that it gets to a space where it's not tainted. I think we get a lot of things that go into the media space where they get watered down and then everybody thinks they can do it. Then people cut corners. It's a very delicate thing. And I think
people are into gimmicks.
I know.
So if it worked for Andy and Andy did ABC and it worked for her, can take the same formula, replicate it.
But the thing is, it's not fair because you are working with people's lives and people who really need the help and really need some sort of direction, or at least to move the curtains, away so they can see what's outside.
Yes,
and you're playing with that. That's not fair. Like, there's just a certain, I just feel like there's just a certain decorum that you must also feel like, my sister, you're basically a doctor.
The responsibility and accountability, I guess,
you
is
have
important.
to.
Yes,
you have to. But I think a lot of people who are life coaches, or at least the legit ones, they do go through the courses that they need to do.
Yeah.
And I think those are the ones I trust. Yeah.
Legit. And then your final reflections on success, something that you'd like to leave with our audience?
Ooh. Success, I don't think is a full stop. There's a whole lot of commas to success. And I think with every achievement that you get, you're allowed to celebrate that, but also put a comma there. Yeah. It doesn't have to end there. I see a lot of people, and I spoke about this the other day, I see a lot of people who have had big careers and you get stuck with, oh my gosh, my life was this. And then you move to basically tunneling down. And I always ask them, like, why is it that your success must always be pointed to that?
Yeah.
Why is it that it's defined by that? Yes, you were a huge musician, but why is it that you're 50? I don't want to hear you in the studio. What else can you contribute? You've earned the space to be able to contribute differently.
True, yeah.
Maybe in the same space, but differently. You've earned it. Why is it that now you're going to be on a stage twerking? Please don't. I need you in an office somewhere.
That's why we don't see Lil Kim on stage.
I don't need Lil Kim there. I need her to be a record exec somewhere, teaching other Lil Kims and also making the industry safe for other females who want to get into the space, because you went through it because there weren't other females. Now you know what it's like. How is it now you can insulate the industry that it's not so much easier for women to get in, but it's safer for women to get in. And I really do believe in your life having so many commas, and we need to really redefine our lives all the time.
Yes, yeah. And then lastly, how would you like to be remembered?
Ooh, that is a deep question.
Think of your obituary.
Oh, goodness, please no. I don't want to die anytime soon.
No, neither do I.
I want to be remembered as someone who was impactful. I want to be remembered as somebody who colored outside of the lines, and I think really opened the doors for a lot of women.
Okay.
Particularly Black women, because I think there's so many things that are so nuanced when it comes to our lived experiences. I want to be remembered as somebody who lived, man. I really want to be remembered as somebody who lived life and inspired other people to live life as well. And I just want to, if I'm at my funeral, I want people to be like, oh, she met this person? Oh, she was friends with this person? I just want to have a different array of people, and I just want to have a life that is colorful.
I like
and
that.
that's what I want in my life.
A colorful life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
From the colorful in white.
Thank you.
Andy Maqondwana, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure chatting to you, getting to know you, and just sharing some insights with our audience.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. If you've enjoyed our conversation with Andy, make sure that you comment. Don't forget to like. We need those likes. Share the interview so that more people can listen to it. And of course, tell your friends and family about the success rate. We're trying to make this family bigger.